Hello everybody, Drew here, tip of the Mitt Flips, where I'm a full-time eBay reseller, and every 100 subscribers is a giveaway. So if you're watching, make sure you subscribe so you have a chance to win. All right, first thing going out on B2 is a Creative World linen something or other. It's kind of like these Cruel sets, but it's just, I think the backing material you would use if you made your own. As you can see, there's like a apple, strawberry. That's a strawberry, right? Strawberry. But that's a blank one right there. Needlework fabric is what they're calling it. And for that, $14.99 free shipping. Next thing going out, it's a book. The Egg and I. This one here? Yeah, The Egg and I, kind of worn out. And getting enough space in the book section that I can get another box of books. I know I have a couple sitting around here I've been ignoring, but one of them is missing a book to the set, so I'm hoping that's just in another box. I've got a couple sets like that where it's missing one or two and I'm just kind of waiting around to see if it's in a different box. But I'll get another one here, maybe even today, because I have golf and I have to drive right past my storage unit, and I can fill the shelf back up, another 10 books or so. And for that book, $9.99 free shipping. Next thing going out on D1 is Vintage Sirocco D1. They're these plastic wall hanging type things. This one is apples, but also kind of looks like pears. Maybe it's pears. I think it's pears. But I just noticed that there is the original price tag on these. 2 pieces for $1.50. That looks like an original in-store tag, possibly. 2 pieces, $1.50. And for these 2, original price. And this one I think is lemons. Yeah, those are definitely lemons. Don't know why I had to even question it. $11 plus shipping for the pair. So that's a hard asset right there. If I would have bought those in 1950 and held on to them, they would have went up tenfold. Wowie wowie. I could have retired on that. Next thing going out, and man, I wish the other one would get paid for, but it is what it is. It's on D4, Garmin GPS Map 76S, D1234. I do see one on D5, but there's also one on D4. That is Jen actually listening to my suggestions and saying if 2 things are similar, please put them on different shelves so I don't mess up. And for this one right here, GPS Map 76S Garmin sent out an offer or counter offered $109.99 plus shipping. I paid $10 for that one, paid $10 for the other one. The other one also sold, but it sold through Global Shipping Program. And like I mentioned in a video a few videos ago, they get weird about sending out invoices and stuff. I was able to contact them this time, send out a message, which last time I was not able to send a message or an invoice through the listing through Global Shipping. But this time I was able to send them a message. They didn't respond to the message. They still haven't paid for it. If they don't pay for it, it is not a sale. It's just a pain in my butt at this point. I gotta wait another, I think another maybe 48 hours, somewhere in that range, before I can cancel it or before it gets canceled by eBay and I can relist it. I was really hoping both would sell at the same time. That would have been awesome because I paid $10 for each. But either way, $10 into $110, I'm all about it. I think original price on both of them was like $134.99, maybe $139.99, somewhere in that range. But I'm very happy with that flip. Listed only a couple weeks, maybe. Next up, it's a book. Martha Dixon's Copper Kettle? Yeah, Copper Kettle Cookbook. And this, I took a shot in the dark, I think. I remember doing some extra work, but this was from a cooking show that was on a local Michigan network, WGIM TV 6. And I thought, you know, that might have collector value of some kind. Somebody might at some point be interested in that book. Took an offer, $15. Free shipping. Of course, the books do go media mail. Next thing going out on A2 is a vintage amber glass ashtray. It's a very large one. This one right here, I don't know, 8 inches or so. I mean, it probably says right in the listing. 8 inches. Look at me knowing stuff just by looking at it. And for that one, it's got a couple chips, or else, of course, to be worth a little more. I think I counter offered. Maybe not. Maybe it was just on sale. I did run a sale. I'm almost continuously running sales. $13.49 plus shipping. I think I got that at the same sale I got these GPS at. That's the sale where I'd bought a ton of stuff, super cheap. It got listed before I got a chance to show it off. It's where I'd gotten those Santas, a couple other Christmas decorations, just a bunch of stuff. And I think that's where I got that sale. If that's where I got that sale, I paid, I would call it nothing for that. Maybe I did pay nothing for it. There was a free box that I picked some stuff from, but very little, less than $1. Next thing going out on B4, vintage orange Tupperware measuring spoons. And just as I said, glad she separated them. Look at that. 2 sets of orange measuring spoons right next to each other. I think they are different amounts or something. Set of 5 for this one. Let's see if we can figure it out. Set of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, this one's a little more bright orange than the other one. You can kind of tell in the picture. But for those right there, $10.79 free shipping. I think the full set is a set of 8. Because I just sold the full set in almond a couple days ago, or a couple videos ago, something like that. Time is hibbity-dibbity here. $10.79 free shipping. Next thing going out, I love it, because it was one of those ones Jen goes, why would anybody buy this? Da 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 da. That's not what she sounds like at all. Actually, even after the listing was posted, or was about to be posted, because I still check every listing, even though I've told her, you're doing fine, you can just list them and go ahead and make them live if you want. She's not comfortable with that yet, so I still give them a quick glance. Basically, all I do, I check that the price and the shipping makes sense at all, and then I check to make sure it has a shelf category, and that's it. That's all I'm checking at this point. I don't tell her that because, you know, I don't want her to be worried, but I'm confident that she's doing good enough that any mistake would be, it happens, that kind of thing. But this one right here, I did go back and raise the price. She was not confident it would even sell. It did sell on a 10% off sale. B3 is a foam koozie lot. Back here, if I can get to it, which does clear up a nice chunk of space. Come on. Come on. Not going to hurt them getting them out, but in this fancy storage bag we got right here, which, you know, it gets the job done, so who cares? And for the lot of 10 foam koozies, $22.49 free shipping. And I will, basically, I got big enough poly bags, I'll throw it in a poly bag just like that. You're not going to hurt it. And that's what I do with the koozies. I've said before, I just put them to the side. I buy them if they're 25 cents. If it's a nicer one, 50 cents. And I just send them to the side when I get to 10 that are all different. Not the same. A variety pack. Because people get it for on the boat, for their bar, whatever, camping. They like the variety. I don't know why, but that is a thing. They like the variety. If you just had a bunch from like your local bank, you got 10 of those, it's not going to do it. So for that lot of random koozies, $22.49 free shipping, love it. And if I paid 25 cents a piece, that would be about $2.50. That would be exactly $2.50. And sometimes, not most time, sometimes you get those just in the free box, or you'll get them 4 for whatever. You know, they're just very cheap, very easy to just throw it in the corner until you have 10 of them, make a listing. Next thing going out, did go back and forth a couple times, but I'm guessing I was the final price because it is $14.99. B4 is a vintage B1, 2, 3, 4 Pyrex Early American? Is that what it's called? American Heritage? Heritage? Something like that. This was not in the best condition. It's definitely been in a dishwasher a couple times. Do not do that to your Pyrex. It's just mean. All the luster gone. It's just not, just don't do it. Please don't do it. This one's saying Federal Brown, so maybe that's different than the pattern I'm thinking of, but either way, $14.99 free shipping for that mug. And then next up, this one, I mentioned to Jen what had happened, and she was befuddled by, like, why would they not realize what you're doing? And I said, because they don't sell things, they're a buyer. They're just looking at it from their perspective, not our perspective. And it's on C3. It's a True Glow 4-arrow quiver, And then I think it's a True Glow sight. Let's not break some glass while we're getting it out. Right here. And I had multiple, I'd say 3, maybe 4 people reach out to me and say, hey, I don't want the quiver. Will you just separate out the sight? You know, various offers. One of them said, you know, I'll give you $20 for just the sight, blah, blah, blah. And I had it listed $34.99, I think, for all of it. And the point is, the quiver, very little value. Also, the quiver, very low sell-through rate. Just not a great item. But the sight, a pretty good item. So bundling them together was to, now I don't want to say trick, but to trick a buyer into going, oh, wow, I get the sight I want plus the quiver for just a couple more bucks. What a great deal. Or, you know, to take the thing that has the higher value, the lower value, you put them together, and it's just, it increases your chance of selling it, increases the price you'll get for it, all of the check marks for a seller. But $31.49 for the pair. But I had multiple people go, hey, I just want the sight. And in the back of my mind, I went, I know you just want the sight. That's why they're bundled together. Because if I just listed them separately, the quiver would have sat there forever until next year's garage sale when I inevitably pulled it out. Same thing with video games. You have 2 video games. One of them is worth something, the other one's not, but they're light games. They're both racing, both from the same franchise. You bundle them together, it helps you sell the worst one. Next thing going out on C2 is a vintage lot of 19 handmade aprons. C2. Okay, I see 3 bags, so let me ask Jen which one of these is the right one. Okay, and back to being a rock star. There was 2 lots, but this is the one lot, and this is the lot that sold. There just happens to be 3 bags of them. So 3 bags of vintage, handmade. I think this is the lot of half aprons. No, this is the lot of full body aprons. That's probably why it's 3 bags, because they're bigger. It's a lot of 19. And then we have a lot of 16 of the half aprons, something like that. Clearly got a bunch of them, you know, 50 plus. And we did throw some away that just weren't in good enough condition to bother with. The market for listing these individually does exist, but the time and effort and the lottery that you're in, because there's just so many listed, and you're just basically hoping that you've keyworded it exactly, or that you have a buyer that wants it exactly, the keyword, the one you have. So we decided 2 lots, 1 all full aprons, 1 all half aprons, and run it. And for this one, listed for seconds, and I mean seconds. I posted it. I looked at the send offers available. There was a send offers available. I sent out an offer, $39.99, and someone accepted. This had been sitting on the shelf in the death pile, money pile, for weeks, and Jen and I both were avoiding it. We were like, this just seems like a pain. And that brings us to tip of the day. And the tip of the day is, don't try to anticipate what things will sell and at what times. You just know kind of what the value is going to be. You don't know how quickly that turnover is going to be. So don't ignore stuff. Don't push it to the side, because sometimes that item that you've been ignoring for weeks because it seemed like it was going to be a lot of work ended up taking, I don't know, Jen had to lay them all out and she folded them all and had to pack them up. It was probably 15 minutes, but then took seconds to sell. Under a minute, listed it, sent out an offer, boom, sold. Do not pass stuff. Don't push stuff to the side. List it. List the thing. That might be the thing that's about to jumpstart your store. That might be the thing that somebody is looking for today. Somebody's looking for right now. You don't know. I don't know. But you get caught up in it. And you go, oh, well, this is a better thing. I'll list this. Or this is easier. I'll list this. Just list it. Just list the thing. That's all you can do. You can't dictate what buyers are going to do. You can't predict what they're going to do. You definitely can't predict what they're going to do. Just list it. Let eBay do what eBay does. And then make the money. All right, so I was boxing everything up so I could clear some space, pull some more orders. Got to the aprons. And this is a perfect example of when to resize a box. Aprons, you cannot hurt them at all. And of course, I could have put them in a poly bag, but the poly bag I have to pay for. It's going priority anyway, so I want to use a USPS product. So I was going to use a number 7 box. I'm still going to use a number 7 box, but the shipping we charged was for 5 pounds, 10 ounces. And as you can see, or maybe you can't see, we are at 6 pounds, 0.3 ounces. So 0.31 ounces away from it being back into that $5 bracket. So I'm going to resize this real quick. The reason I turned the camera back on is because there's 2 reasons to resize a box. 1, to reduce how much packing material you need in the box, how much void fill, saves you money. The second reason is to reduce the weight of the box to get you below a poundage. That second one is more rare because the amount you can, by shaving off a little bit of cardboard here or there, it doesn't really adjust the weight that much. The combination of the 2 with the packing material and resizing can bring the weight down. This has no packing material. It's aprons. I threw them in the box. I taped the box shut. So let me see if I can get this down to 0.3 ounces to get that dollar amount down as well. As you can see, not a ton of room because Jen had basically vacuum sealed these already, so they're very tightly packed. I could have unpacked them and refolded, but at that point, it wouldn't have been worth the time and effort. I would just pay the extra $1 or so to not have to do that. It wasn't much that I'd have to trim off. As you can see right here, this 2 little pieces of cardboard, 0.5 ounces, already gets me there. So I took my little resizing tool, this one right here. If you are interested in getting one of these, link in the description, or you could just go to Amazon, eBay and buy it without me making any money off it. That's also okay. I ran it around and it's not going to resize the box much, just about 1 inch, but it is enough. And that's all it takes. Let's see what the difference in price is. Was it even worth the effort? If I get it into the 5 pound range, it's going to cost $13.23. And then if that ends up into that 6 pound range, the next poundage up, $14.07. So worth a little bit of extra time to save about $1, at least I think. All right, next thing going out on C5 is vintage license plate. I forgot to read the rest of it before I left, but there are these little red license plate reflectors. I want to say they're Harley. We'll find out together when I get back here, or actually you would already know. Vintage license plate, red glass, dome-shaped motorcycle, bicycle reflectors. It's just a piece of red glass with a wing nut and a spring, and for these 2 little itty-bitty bits of nothing, $65 free shipping. I got these from my buddy Mikhail that sends me stuff sometimes. Thank you, Mikhail. I was a little shocked by these. Because they're not branded. Like I said, if they were Harley or something, that might make sense. But just for these little bits of nothing, $65 free shipping. And I even took like $15 off the asking price, something like that. So even gave, with a discount, $65 free shipping. What a great sale. Okay, a few more orders going out. Couple neat things or talking points to talk about. Jen was in here listing some like brass items, and we had a box of brass that I got from my dad. Nothing crazy, but brass like candlestick holders, you can, if they're not worth selling individually, you can lot them and they don't have to match at all. Different sizes, different styles, it doesn't matter. People like to decorate that way, make a centerpiece on a shelf. You can just pile them up if you get them cheap enough, and then just put them in a lot at some point and just sell them as a bulk lot, which I think that she's picked out a couple and then the rest she's going to do that way. But in that box of brass was this very interesting item. It's a mid-century modern candy dish. UFO is how it's described, and it's from a company called Guth, G-U-T-H. Now, this little item, we listed it for $119.99 free shipping because it'll go first class. And because of the value, I might, and I say might because I probably won't, but most people, what you would want to do is you would send it first class because it's very light, and then you would insure that first class, which would still be cheaper than sending it USPS priority. I'm not sure if we're going to get that kind of money. It's just kind of a shot in the dark because there is an identical item to this. And I mean identical. Everything about it is exactly the same from Mirror. Let me, now I got to double check. Miro, M-I-R-R-O, I think is the spelling. But an identical dish to this. A mid-century modern aluminum with teak legs candy dish that they call a UFO. And I mean identical. It's very weird. But I cannot find this one. I found the company, and it looks like they make like aluminum lighting fixtures and aluminum gutters, possibly. Something like that. Maybe that's what they do now. It's not what they used to do back then. But I'm talking identical. And the Miro, whatever name I just said, M-I-R-R-O, I think is it. The identical one in that brand of that sells for about $150. So we're kind of just taking a shot in the dark, listed a little lower. So if somebody's looking for one of those, they go, oh, well, this one is exactly the same, but a different brand. I'll buy this one. That's kind of what we're looking for. Maybe it's worth more because it's more rare. Rare doesn't always mean more money. I don't know. So we're just kind of taking a shot on that one. I'm very hopeful. That would be a cool cool little find. But if you have information on the brand G-U-T-H, Guth, I couldn't find anything. I tried Terapeak, just regular Google search. Tried, searching Pinterest and other selling platforms. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Except I did find, for the Miro brand, there's a matching platter. And apparently for the Guth brand, there was also a identical matching platter. So I was thinking almost like it was an aluminum company. They're like, well, I want to make one of these. And they just made a couple of them. I honestly have no idea. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is I got a feedback. And it was a neutral feedback, which, whatever. Let me just get to the feedback. And it was a vintage Barbie Skipper Sun Sensation bathing suit. Okay? It is an official Barbie vintage bathing suit. They left a neutral feedback. It was too big. That was their response. It was too big. Okay? Well, then you don't have a Skipper Sun Sensation Barbie. It goes to that Barbie. They are different sizes for different years. It is what it is. Here's the point of all this. Does feedback even matter? And for the most part, now, no, it doesn't. It used to, and now it doesn't. It matters if you get a bunch of bad feedback. That matters a lot. But as long as you're doing your job properly, to the best of your abilities, negative feedback is negligible. At least in my case. I don't know. I've had 4 negative feedbacks ever. And I mean ever. And 2 of them were completely ludicrous. But eBay no longer will remove feedback unless they literally threaten you. Unless it's like threatening you with bad feedback, or threatening you with going to do something, or physical violence, or just in general, or they use profanity. Beyond that, eBay does not care. They say, well, you can reply to them. Why? I have put replies, like one was, sent me a broken item, and so I replied to it, was clearly listed as for parts or repair, and they never attempted to return the item, which they could have returned the item. They would have had to pay returning shipping, but they could have. Just left me the negative feedback and went on with their life, whatever. But it honestly does not, outside of, again, if you have a significant amount of negative, then you need to reassess how you're doing your business, because there's something you're doing on your end. Because in general, negative feedback is very few and far between, and neutral, I don't think affects your store in any way, except for your positive feedback overall percentage. It does affect that, which again, it's nice to have that 100%. It looks good, feels good. Does it affect anything? No. As from a buyer perspective, for myself, unless I see like a real bad number, and I would say below 90% is bad, real bad, then I'll look into it. I'll see kind of what that feedback looks like. Depends on the item I'm buying, all the above. The gist of it is, does feedback matter? Yes, if it's real bad. But does good feedback help? No. I don't think it helps at all. It helps in the way that if you're getting consistent good feedback, it means you're doing stuff right. That's what helps. It helps because you're helping. You're doing your job properly. You're doing a good job. Therefore, if you're getting positive feedback, that's positive reinforcement that you're doing it right. So that's where that helps. But the other end of that is there's nothing you can do about it. The transaction could go perfect. If they just want to be a jerk, they can leave you negative feedback and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it anymore. So I don't worry about it. I just thought this one was interesting. I could have reached out. I could have taken the time. But again, it doesn't affect my store, so I don't care. I used to get real worked up about it. I got enough things I get worked up about it. I don't care anymore. I don't. But that's the point there though, is if somebody wants to leave you negative feedback, if somebody wants to leave you neutral feedback, they're going to, and there's nothing you can do about it. So next thing going out on B4 is a vintage Tupperware grater. B1234. It's this one right here, which I've said before, I don't know what you're grading on this, but I can't imagine it goes very well. Let me know if you've ever used one of these. I grew up with one of these in my kitchen. I can say for almost 100% fact that we never used it. I can also see that there's a dead moth in this one, so that's fun. I'll pop that back open and clean that out real quick before I send it out. I am glad I spotted it now instead of not at all and get a negative feedback. They sent me a moth. I could see that one turning into negative feedback. And what would I say? What would I say to that? So I'm sorry, but feedback. And the process used to be a lot better. You could reach out to eBay and they'd say, oh, you know, this negative feedback doesn't make any sense. Like the one where they complained that it didn't work and I sold it to them for parts or repair, therefore, of course, it doesn't work. They wouldn't remove that. And before, that would have been easily removed. I would have opened up a side chat, blah, blah, blah. Yes, how you doing? Will you look at this one? They left me a negative feedback that makes no sense. And they would have removed that, I don't know, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, pre-lockdowns. Because as soon as, that's what happened for eBay customer service. Lockdowns, then they completely outsourced all of their customer relations. Completely outsourced it. It used to be in-house. They did away with that, outsourced it, and now it's a dumpster fire. So I don't deal with it. I take the lumps when they come, and beyond that, it's a waste of my time to reach out to them. I don't bother. Next thing going out is a lot of VeggieTales VHS. Gotta move my Because Nice Matters pillow that I picked up to resell and was worthless, so then I kept it because nice does matter. I try to remind my house of that all the time, but it seems to be lost on most, including those closest to me. Sometimes you just got to put in the extra effort to be nice. Like, even if you don't mean it, because that little extra effort could be the difference in somebody's day. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll try my motivational speaker stuff today. Try to be nice today in a scenario where nice isn't your first choice. Give it a shot. See how it works out. Let me know. I hope this turns into at least a couple cool stories. That'd be great. At the very least, it turns into some positivity for someone random out there. And for that lot of VeggieTales VHS, which this is one of the VHS types, the VeggieTales line, series, whatever you want to call it, where I buy them whenever I get them in free boxes. I buy them for 25 cents. I make the listing, and I just add to it and raise the price every so often. And so that one had gotten up to $29.99, sent out an offer $24.99, and someone took it. $24.99 free shipping right there. And it's a lot of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, there we go. Next thing going out on C4 is vintage candelabra C1234. It's almost like a blow mold. Actually, this probably is blow mold. Some type of molded plastic. Try not to break this light bulb. All right, there we go. Christmas centerpiece. I guess it doesn't have to be Christmas, but this is Christmas. And definitely vintage, you can tell by the style of plug. It might have even had a year on the bottom of it. I got that also in the big buy where I should have just bought out everything. I should have said, hey, how about I give you $200? You guys just pack it up and, you know, your day's over. Save you some time and effort. Because actually, my dad also got a bunch of stuff at that sale that he made some decent money off of. But for that one, 25 cents, 50 cents, that was all the prices. That's why I bought up everything, or at least everything I thought had any value. And for that, $39.99 free shipping. There were other ones listed, but none of them had the vintage flame bulbs. Of course, this one is a replacement, but none of the ones listed had these, and we did test it. They look, you know, they're not great. I'm not happy to have to pack those. I'll probably unscrew the bulbs, pack those themselves with some bubble wrap separately, really pack those well. I was hoping that maybe these come off, but it does not look like it. That's not going to be fun. Jen put it as a free shipper, first class free shipper. It doesn't weigh much, but once I start putting in enough packing material to make that safe, that might end up just having to get bumped up to priority. Where's it going? That could make a big difference. If it's going, you know, in Michigan, I might just say, you know, forget it, and I'll send a priority anyways. But like I was guessing, it's going to California. So if I bump that up to priority, I'm going to lose out on a decent amount of money. So I'll try my best to get that first class. It's going to be hard. And it's not her fault. She doesn't pack. So she's not aware of how much work that's going to take, how heavy the box is going to be, because this is a large box. If I was shipping this priority, this would be a number 7 box, which weighs 6 ounces or something, 7 ounces. They're pretty heavy. Either way, for the cost of what I paid for it and how much money I got, I don't care. If I gotta bump that to priority, that's still huge profits. Don't care. $39.99 free shipping going out the door. Well, that's gonna be all for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. Subscribe, share, and be good to each other.